All right, here we are. It is time to look at the Week 12 videos. And so we'll have a separate video for each of the Week 12 questions. This first one will cover topic 12.1a. And let me remind you, it's an A topic, which means if you didn't get it right on this first test, don't get upset. Use your energy to look at this video, to listen to it, compare it against your test, talk to your friends, ask me questions, whatever, because there'll be two more opportunities to do well on this topic, two more opportunities to test out on this. So here's our scenario. Jackson painted the exterior of his house using a total of 60 gallons of paint. That was the total amount of paint that he used. Now that painted the entire exterior of his house. Of that paint, 24 gallons were red and 36 gallons were blue. We're going to want to keep track of that. So we had 24 gallons of red, 36 gallons of blue. If you add those together, they make 60. So we know there was no other paint mixed in. There was no white mixed in or something else. And that's going to help us when we get to the second part of this question. So if we move this down now, so we've got some room to work. There we go. Okay, first thing we want to do is we want to take a look at what they're asking us to solve. So Jackson decides to paint the interior of his house with the same color. Man, he's going to make more purple. This is like the Barney house in his neighborhood. Okay, so he needs 20 gallons of paint to cover all the walls. How much red does he need? Well, how much red did he use before? So here's what we know. If you take the red to the total, there were 24 gallons of red for 60 gallons total to cover the exterior. Our question is, if you only need 20 for your new total, how much red does it take? How much red does it take to get you 20 total? So we're going to take our ratios and we're going to compare them. So we know that 24 to 60 has the same value as x to 20. 60 being the original, 20 being the new amount. I'm going to suggest to you that it's always helpful to simplify this. So I'm going to say, let's take this where we've got a little more room. Let's come down here. So we've got 24 to 60 equals x to 20. Let's take that 24 to 60 and simplify it. How does it simplify? Well, 24 and 60 can both be divided by 6. 6 goes into 24 4 times. 6 goes into 60 10 times. In fact, we can go one step more. 2 goes into 4 twice. 2 goes into 10 5 times. So we know now that a 2 to 5 ratio is equal to that x to 20 ratio. We need to figure out, what does x have to be? Well, we can cross multiply. So 2 times 20 is 40, and 5 times x is 5x. Divide everything by the coefficient, and we get 8 is the value of x. So it takes 8 gallons of red. So that's one way to get our answer, 8 gallons of red. A different way to get our answer is if we take that same ratio, 2 to 5 equals x to 20, and think in terms of what do you have to multiply by 5 to get 20? Well, that's a 4. So if we use a big 1, we're creating equivalent fractions, and that's how we're showing our ratio right now, is as fractions. We would have 4 times 2, and that would also give us 8. So there are two different ways we can think about getting 8. All right, let's put a little divider in there because we've got a second problem to solve. So now for part B, how many gallons of blue paint does Jackson need? Well, remember when we said, come back up to this, Remember we said all the paint is either red or blue? Well, since all the paint is either red or it's blue, we know that if we've just used 20 gallons and 8 of that was red, what's left over, 12, has to be blue. 12 gallons of blue. And we could solve that if we wanted to go back and use the same ratio idea. Remember, our ratio of blue paint was 36 to 60. If we think about simplifying that, 36 divided by 6 is 6. 60 divided by 6 is 10. We can divide one more time. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 10 divided by 2 is 5. This makes sense because we've got 3 to 5 and 2 to 5 in the red, and that totals 5 to 5. So then we could take that 3 to 5, think of x to 20, cross multiply. 3 times 20 is 60, is equal to 5x. Once again, divide by the coefficient. 60 divided by 5 is 12, and 5x divided by 5 is the x. And we're back again to our 60. Okay, so remember, this is an A-type problem. You're going to see it 2 more times. So really take the time to match up your test, figure out what didn't I understand? Do I understand it better now? If not, either watch that portion of the video again, grab a classmate that understands how to do it, ask them to give you a little bit of explanation, or bring your questions to me. All right? Remember, there'll be more videos coming for the Week 12 test.